A family's worst day in New York. New York City was shining that morning. The streets were busy. Yellow taxis moved quickly. People walked fast with coffee cups in their hands. The sound of car horns filled the air. For the Parker family, this day was supposed to be special. David Parker, his wife Sarah, and their two children, Emily and Jake, had traveled from a small town in Ohio to visit New York for the first time. This trip was a dream for their family. David had worked hard for 2 years to save money. Sarah had planned every detail carefully. Their hotel was in Manhattan, close to Times Square. Emily was 16. She loved taking pictures and posting them online. Jake was 10. He was excited to see the giant buildings and famous places he had only seen on TV. That morning, everyone was happy. "Today is our biggest adventure," Sarah said with a smile. "We're going to see Central Park, the Statue of Liberty, and maybe even Broadway lights tonight." Jake jumped excitedly. This is the best day ever. No one knew it would soon become the worst day of their lives. The family left the hotel at 9 a.m. The streets were crowded. David held the city map while Sarah checked directions on her phone. Their first stop was Central Park. The park was beautiful. Tall trees moved softly in the wind. People were running, riding bikes, and walking dogs. Emily stopped often to take photos. "This place is amazing," she said. Jake pointed at a street performer juggling balls. "Look," everyone laughed. For a while, everything felt perfect. Then David checked his watch. "We need to hurry if we want to catch the ferry to the Statue of Liberty." The family quickly left the park and headed to the subway station. That was their first mistake. The subway station was crowded and noisy. People rushed everywhere. The Parkers had never used New York's subway system before. David looked confused at the map. "Downtown train. Where is it?" Sarah frowned. "I think it's this way." The children followed closely. Suddenly, the loud sound of an arriving train filled the station. People pushed forward. "Come on," David shouted. The family rushed toward the open doors. Emily entered first. Jake followed. Sarah stepped inside. But just as David reached the door, it closed hard. David was left standing on the platform. The train started moving immediately. "Dad!" Jake screamed from inside. David ran beside the train, but it was too late. The train disappeared into the tunnel. His family was gone. Inside the train, Sarah's face turned pale. "Oh no!" Jake looked terrified. "What do we do?" Emily tried calling David. No answer. No signal underground. Sarah took a deep breath. "It's okay. We'll get off at the next station and wait." But when the train stopped, things became worse. The station was packed. As the doors opened, people pushed inside. The force separated them. Sarah was pushed left. Emily and Jake were pushed right. "Mom!" Emily shouted. The doors closed again. Sarah watched in horror as her children disappeared on the next train. Now the family was completely separated. David stood frozen on the platform. His heart raced. He grabbed his phone. No answer from Sarah. He ran to the station worker. "My family is on that train. My wife and kids are separated." The worker spoke calmly. "Sir, relax. Go to the next station." David ran faster than he ever had before. Up the stairs, out to the street, into a taxi. "Please hurry." Traffic was terrible. Every red light felt like forever. David looked at the clock. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. No messages, no calls. His hands shook. Meanwhile, Sarah stood alone in a crowded station. Tears filled her eyes. She kept calling Emily. No answer. Then her phone battery died. Completely dead. No, no, no. She looked around helplessly. Thousands of strangers moved past her. No one noticed her fear. For the first time in years, Sarah felt completely lost. Emily held Jake's hand tightly. "It's okay," she said, trying to sound brave. Jake's eyes were wet. "I want Mom. We'll find her." But Emily was scared too. Her phone battery was only 3%. She opened the map app. Nothing loaded. No signal. Then her phone died. Jake started crying. They were alone in New York City. Hours passed. David searched station after station. Sarah asked strangers for help. Emily and Jake waited near a subway entrance, hoping someone would come. Rain began falling. Heavy rain. The city became gray and cold. Jake shivered. Emily removed her jacket and wrapped it around him. "It'll be okay," she whispered, but she was no longer sure. At 5 p.m., David finally reached Times Square. He was exhausted, soaked from rain, hopeless. Then he stopped. Near the giant glowing screens, under bright lights, he saw two familiar faces sitting on a bench. Emily and Jake. David ran to them. "Emily, Jake?" They looked up. "Dad!" They ran into his arms. David held them tightly, almost crying. "You're safe. Where's Mom?" Emily asked. David's smile disappeared. He still hadn't found Sarah. At that same moment, Sarah was walking through Times Square, desperate and tired. She looked up at the bright lights through the rain. Then she heard a voice. "Mom?" She turned. There they were, her whole family, safe, together. Sarah ran to them. They hugged tightly in the middle of Times Square as people rushed past. No one noticed, but for the Parker family, the world had stopped. They were together again. That was all that mattered. Later that night, they sat quietly in their hotel room. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, Jake smiled. "Well, this was definitely not the best day ever." Everyone laughed, even Sarah. David looked at his family. "We lost our phones, our tickets, and our plans." Emily smiled. "But we found each other." David nodded. "Yes, and that's worth more than anything." Outside, New York still buzzed with life. Cars moved, lights flashed, people hurried through the streets. But inside that small hotel room, peace had finally returned. The worst day of their lives had reminded them of something important. In a world full of noise, confusion, and fear, family is the one place we always hope to return to. And sometimes, getting lost helps us remember where home truly is.